everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. Today's project that I have for you continues on from one that I did, the Stampin' Up! Facebook group for the US demonstrators that is hosted by Stampin' Up! Did a little class the other night, and 4 demonstrators showed projects of different ways that you could use our soft pastels. And so they asked 4 of us to do some presentations, and so I showed 4 different ways that you could use pastels. It was a really good class. The other 3 did great techniques as well. So I just wanted to show my full cards because that night we just had like 15 minutes and I can't hardly ever do a 15-minute video. So I wanted to show my full card on here so everybody could see the way that I did it. So that's the project. But before I get going, my mini catalogs for January and June and my celebration catalogs have all mailed. So if you are my customer, they started going out the day after I got them. So they've been going out in drips and droves for a while because it's a huge job. So they went out based on different mailings that I had. So the last of them went on Monday. So if you don't get one, or if you haven't gotten tracking and you think that you should have gotten one, because everybody who has taken a class, if you took a class, then I sent you an email and you needed to respond to that if you haven't purchased. But if you've purchased anything from me since June of this year, then you should have gotten one. And so if you didn't get that tracking that said you had a package coming, then let me know. I'm totally out of them. I have this one and then one other one. So I'm not totally out. I do have one. Then let me know, and I will add you to the list. The Stampin' Up! Shipping time and UPS, you know, it's slow right now. It's the holidays. So I probably won't get them until Christmas, so they won't go out until after Christmas. Maybe I'll get them sooner, but just message me and let me know if you didn't get that tracking. Otherwise, watch your email, because there's a way that you could possibly win a $20 gift certificate just by having your catalog from me. So I'm going to do a little game with them, and that will go out in my email this week. So that is that. It starts, I think it starts like January 4th, maybe. It doesn't say in here. Sometimes it has the date. But I will have catalog kickoff the first 2 days of that. So everybody watch for that, because I have so many stamp sets from this and I'm so eager to start playing with them. So as part of every new catalog, my most popular classes are called my Try It classes. So out of all of the papers that are in this, and then a couple from the celebration, I will do my Try It class. So a Try It class is a chance for you to try it. So all of the cards will focus on a new paper, and then they'll have a new ribbon, a new embellishment. Some will have die cuts, some will have punches. You don't need any stamps. You don't need a cut and emboss. You don't need anything. You just need like a paper cutter and some adhesives and some scissors. And then you will follow along with video. Everyone has video. In every video, I will show you all of the papers, not all the ones that I can cram onto the cards. And I'll show you like tips and tricks with all of the suites. So it's a super fun class. It kind of walks you through, and then you get to see it and try it before you place all of your orders and know what you really like. And sometimes you see stuff that you didn't see when you just flip through. So I'm going to show you a past Try It. And they're all just kind of mixed up. So this would have been the last holiday catalog. So you see, I tried to get as many pieces of a paper on there so you can see a lot of them. And because of the way Stampin' Up! Does our fabulous paper, that's why you often don't need stamps. But I will show you how the stamps work with the paper. So there's one. Again, another fabulous stamp set. I try to do lots of fun folds or patterns, and then you'll be able to reuse them in the future. Here's one. These look like they're from the annual catalog that is current. So see, lots of papers, so you get to see, and then of course they're double-sided, so before you glue it down, you get to see the other side. And then they come with a PDF. Only my retreats, and the retreats don't come with this nice of a PDF and this class, otherwise I'm a video person, so you get videos. But you do get this, and so it will have a little link that, so as long as you keep your PDF, and you can save it in your Kindle or your book app, or just on your computer, you can hit this, and it will take you to all of the videos forever, so you don't lose them, as long as you have this. But every single one, like this was a fun fold. It has all the measurements, and it has the walkthrough directions. That's why I don't do PDFs. I need more words than what I can fit on these pages, but they do match up to the video. And then you can go back and you can take these. So here's this card, but if you like this layout in the future, and sometimes I redo them in past in future card club, or not card clubs, and try-its. So you can go back and you can redo them. So we do 10. It does fill, and the reason it fills is because this class is a ton of work. By the time my husband and I do all of the cutting and all of the punching and all of the die cutting and all of the embossing folders, there is a cutoff. The girls in my demonstrator team, they always get all of my videos for free, but for this one, I did give them the packet for free. It's a perk of being on my team. So you can join my team, and if you do it now, then you'll get the kit when they mail. If you do it in January, then as part of celebration, you get to pick 2 free stamps that you'll have to wait for your kit then, because those don't come out right away, because you'd have to wait till you join, but that is a perk of being on my team. So soft pastels, here they are. This is the card that I've already posted, and this one I used white pigment refill and chalk, and then that way I did a DIY chalk paint. So this one is already posted. So the soft pastels they're really inexpensive, guys. So they are cheaper than some of our spools of ribbon. They are cheaper than some of our embellishments. They are cheaper than a pack of designer series paper, quite a bit cheaper than a pack of designer series paper. So when you buy them, don't think, oh, I have to be super careful with them. All of the techniques I'm going to show you, they use them, because when we buy this stuff, right, we're not buying it to take up space in our craft room and 10 years later have to figure out what we need to get rid of so we have more space in our craft room. We are buying it to use it. So when you buy these, don't be afraid to use them. And if they get used up, then you've used up $9 of stuff to make pretty cards. So don't think, oh, I have to keep them all pretty and they need to look, stay in their little sticks and look beautiful. You're buying them to use them. So if you ever use up a pack of designer series paper, you don't like mourn over it. So don't mourn over using these. So this card is going to use a little bit more, but when you see my next one, like, we're going to use them. So that's the point. So I'm going to use Cajun Craze, and you're going to see this is doesn't have Cajun Craze in it, but we're going to make it work. So this is kind of a little odd combination that we're going to use here. I have Cajun Craze, I have Granny Apple Green, and then I have some white. I'm going to use a sneak peek bundle, and it's Cactus Cuties, and this is bundled with a punch. So I'm going to use the punch to make a mask. So I'm just going to go ahead and punch this in here. And the only reason I'm using this is to make a mask. So I have this. Then I'm going to use it with paste. And a couple of, one of the girls in the class, she did some other paste techniques with the chalks. And so I'll probably try those a little later on. I'm just going to do the cards I did for now. Now, when you get our paste, it comes in a bag and it comes sealed up, but it still does dry up. And I had not opened this one, and I've probably had it for a long time because, we hoard. Sometimes it's not that we hoard because we intend to, but because we hoard because we buy so much stuff that you just don't get around to using it. And that was the case with this. So it's a little drier than if you get a new one. And you can see I was creating the other day and I wiped this off, but I never got around to cleaning it. You can clean it. And I just realized I only wiped it until I just got ready to film this. So these are our palette knives, and they're meant to be used with the paste. And I will do something with our new masks because I have the new masks out of the new catalog. I'm not going to use this big one. This is really more for the masks. I'm just going to use these at least two little ones. Put this aside for now. And then this is going to be the panel of our card. So the first color I'm going to make, and you can see it's, if you've used the paste before, it is not normally this dry. So you can mix just a drop of water in it to kind of re-moisten it. But because I'm using it with this, it's actually to my advantage that it's kind of dried up because it will work a little bit better. So this is our acrylic mat, and I've had my acrylic mats forever. Or silicone mat, you just wipe them off. So I'm going to take the poppy. This is our take your pick tool, and I had somebody ask after my other video where I got this tip. This is where you get it. It's the other end of our pokey one. This is the one I'm always using to pick up embellishments in the video, and you just flip it over. That's why it's take your pick, because right now I need this end. So I'm just going to take my poppy, and see, this is where you're using up your pastels, but that's why we buy them, right? To use them. We don't buy them to keep them pretty in their little sponge box to later just give to the Goodwill or to your grandkids. So we've got the poppy. Now I don't want it to be poppy. Because that doesn't match. I want it to look like a terracotta pot. But go back to second grade art class when we learned that you can mix colors. So now this is Mossy Meadow. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of moss, and then we'll see what that looks like. So now you just take this, and this is dry. If it was wet, it would be mixed a little bit more differently. So if you want to do this and you have a new one and you want it to dry out, just let it sit here on your silicone mat just for a few minutes before you start mixing it. And then yours will be a little bit drier. But this gives it a really fun texture. And it also, because we're doing a pot and then we're doing a cactus, so those both have texture, they're not flat. So then you can kind of see where you're at with your color. So because the paste is white, that's still kind of light. It's not as terracotta as I want. So just take a little bit more of this, which is gonna make it, again, go a little bit more poppy. And the poppy is a red. If you've been around Stampin' Up! For a long time, it always reminds me of Rocket Red, when we didn't have a real red, and we were always like, we need a real red. And then when we finally got a red, they called it real red, because we always said we needed a real red. But poppy has a tinge of orange to it, which does help when you're trying to make terracotta, right? Or Cajun craze. That's what we're going for. So just kind of lay this here. You can add a dash of yellow to it if you need to brighten it up. You can just kind of play with it. And the fun thing is, this is never going to look the same. Like, you're not going to get the same thing twice. So now I'm just going to go back with a hit more of this. And for my cactus, I'm just going to go Granny Apple Green, because that's what my cardstock is. So for that one, that's going to be easy. There we go, we're getting it. You just a tad bit more. And then also the other thing is I don't care if it's thoroughly mixed. If it has a little bit of, when I go to wipe it on my mask, if some of it's a different color, because in real life, when light hits, things have different colors. Like this, when the light hits something, it can look a different color. So put that on there. This also helps dry up the paste, which will help when we go to put it on the card in a second. That's looking pretty good, isn't it? So now you're going to take your mask, and this comes with 2 pots, because you can see this can be a cactus for the stamp, but I'm going to use it for a pot. And then this is this pot in here. But this is actually a cactus, but I'm going to use it for a pot because I need it to be a bigger pot on my design. So I'm going to just lay this on here. Just fold it down carefully, and then you need to be pretty careful because it doesn't give you a lot of space. That's why I'm going to use this little fine tip one here. And just dab it just around. And I want that texture. I want it to be nice and rough. Oops. I'm trying to do it so you can see. Let me move all this over so I can control it a little better. The nice thing is because it has dimension to it, I can put it right back where it goes. There we go. I'm trying not to get it. I could have chosen a larger size of cardstock. I just picked up a scrap here to punch. So just get this one here. You just want to make sure it goes all the way to the edges. You're just going to take off a little bit. And then when you pick it up, you have that fun shape. Now you can see that I have a little bit of over, but that's okay because I do fix that at the end. So you just need to I don't want it to be like sticking up. So just take anything that's kind of sticking up. If you use a bigger mask and you didn't have those things going on the side, I could have done that on the So there's that. So I'm just going to take a tissue. Where do I lay them? One. So for this one, I'm going to stick this in here. Kind of move that up a little bit more, and so I don't have it close to the other. Now we'll have our own little cactus up here. We'll cover that up. We'll blend that right into the rest of it. So now I'm going to get a little bit more of my embossing paste. So that's good. There is a flower as well. And now you don't want this to sit open on the table because it just dries up. And I also don't like to put them back in the bag, so I always just kind of slide the bag down and then make sure it's tight as can be. Some people even put it like another piece of Glad wrap or something over the top. And then if you don't pull it out of the bag, you can just pull it back up and then seal that tight. That will keep them as moist for as long as possible. So I have this. And then as soon as you're done with this, take this over and rinse it off in the sink. The nice thing about the silicone mat is even if it dries, you can kind of like crack it off and it comes off pretty easily. You take the Granny Apple Green. So there is, I started to say there's a little flower as well, so you can have a flowering cactus, but for mine, I'm just gonna do something else because it makes it go a little bit faster and it adds one more little bit of texture because the flowers can be something else. So let's just get this Granny Apple Green on here. So if you're new and you're new to the paste, you can also color paste with ink refills, but ink refills are about $3-ish each, a little over $3, I don't know, $3.50 maybe. I just buy them. I never pay attention to the prices. So you can get 3 colors of ink refill. The other thing with the ink refill is the more you put in it, the wetter your paste gets. So if you have brand new paste and you keep adding color to get a stronger color, it dilutes your paste and your paste gets a little wet. So you have to sit there and wait for it to dry. So you can get all of these colors of pastels for just $9 and mix the colors like I just did. Like I could add a little bit of blue to this. I could add a little bit of yellow. I could add a tinge of the poppy and just kind of play with the colors. But if you're new with paste, then this is a better way to go because you get more bang for your buck. So again, I'm gonna kind of match this to the paper, and that's a pretty good match. So I'm gonna take this. Now, because this is kind of dried up, look, it's almost already set. So that is the advantage to having a little bit older of a paste. If your paste is brand new and this is still wet, then just let it sit here for a minute longer or let this just dry a minute longer. So now I'm just gonna kind of build my cactus. So I'm not gonna press hard on that. I just wanna lay it right above it because you don't wanna smash it. It's not all the way dry. Like it will need to sit here for a minute. But just put this on here and just do the exact same thing we just did. So there's one little cactus. And then where it lifts up, because it lifts up off the paper because it is a little dry. So mine is older. I've probably had it for a couple of years. And then it's dry, and then I added the pastels to it, so it makes it a little even drier. So then I'm gonna go over on this side and get my paste ready. But it shows you that our paste lasts. So, and also if you have paste that's pretty dry, adding the refill to it will help because it does moisten it back up. I would add refill before you add any water if you're gonna color it. So there we have that one. And a little bit more. Now these you need to be careful, or you could let it sit, but these are gonna be wetter than this was because it's only just been put on there. So let's go kind of this direction with this one. But because they're tiny, it's kind of easy to hold it up in the air and still get it. And because they're cactus, they don't have to be perfect shape. This would be a fun craft to do if you have Girl Scouts or if you do something with your older children. That one's stuck because I'm not pressing hard because I don't want to press the bottom, but easily fixed. And cactus and succulents, you know, are so in style, and this little bundle is so cute. Stay down there. And if it lifts up this time, I'm just going to add it. Yep. Just come back here. It's even a little drier now, my paste, than it was the other day, because when I was messing with it the other day, I let it sit open on the table for a while. But look, you can just fix that. And like I said, it is a cactus. I'm more concerned about getting it on my nails than I am getting, there we go. And one last little time. Over here, because I'm gonna put those flowers on, so any place that's not perfect, that's where I'm gonna put a flower. So smash this on here. Still didn't see. I thought maybe you could push harder. And when I wasn't filming, I let it sit a second longer. Nobody wants to sit here and literally watch paint dry, right? There we go. And look, I'm gonna go back over and press a little bit harder on this other one because I don't like it. It's a little too organic for me. There we go. There's nothing you can't not fix. So there's our little cactus. And when you add the flowers to it, it's gonna look even super cuter. So I'm gonna move that to the side. And then through the magic of me being able to run to my bathroom, I'm gonna rinse this off and fast forward that part of the video. Now I'm gonna take one of our new embossing folders. It is called Gingham, and it is in the mini catalog that you will be able to get stuff from. And those of you that got the catalog also have that coupon, remember. So embossing paste, I don't know that it's on back order, but there are several things, the palette knives, the pastels, things that you can buy because you have that coupon good for $20 and free of whatever you pick, and you can just email me that if you make the qualifying purchase. So stock up on stuff that's in the annual catalog now before the mini comes out. So this is the gingham, and it doesn't matter which way you go because since I'm not using pattern paper, it's not a 3D. And of course I just put my thing on here back up with the handle going the wrong way. So you just, since it's not a 3D, we just use the regular plate. And I do have some how-tos over Christmas. Watch, because I have a few how-tos that will post over the Christmas holidays. And one of them is how to use the cut and emboss machine. And one is with folders. So that just leaves a real fun gingham pattern. On the plain paper, I don't think it shows gingham as much. We will play with it a little bit more, obviously, in the upcoming months as it becomes available. So now let's just put this card together. So like I said, it has the little flower punch, but I didn't want, you can see as my, especially because my paste was dry, I didn't want to keep trying to use the paste to make the flower. So I took our ombre glimmer paper, which will give me a variety of pink toned flowers. So I'm just gonna stick them here. I cut this thin, so I was only getting flowers and then just a little bit of scrap. So there's one. I only did 2 on my first card. I'm gonna do 3 on this one. And then 2. So when you cut it, when you punch upside down like this, you can see exactly what you're getting. 3, maybe, here it is. I'm gonna do one more so I get a little bit darker purple, and maybe I'll use that. But see, I don't wanna waste my glimmer paper. If you could see, that was gonna cut that whole bowl into it. So I'm gonna go this way with it because I don't wanna waste my glimmer paper by cutting the bowl. So just cut the little strips and then get what you want. If it was white paper, I wouldn't care. Maybe I'll use them all. So let's get this. And then I'm gonna have my Cajun Craze. back piece. Let's go ahead and stick this on here. And I don't know what's supposed to be up and what's supposed to be down of the gingham. It's brand new. If you watch the other tutorial I did just before this, or maybe it was in Card Club. I think it was in Card Club. I always run out of my seal while I'm filming. Always. 100% of the time I run out of it while I'm filming. So I did refill it. So now I'm going to get my glue dot. It goes on with that. And I'm going to take my Cajun Craze ink. And then I love this little sentiment that comes in this set. It says, hope your day is on point, which is perfect for our little cactus that we just made. Let's stamp it in the Cajun Craze. And then because this is still, I made these pretty thick. My other ones aren't quite this thick. So I'm not going to put my adhesive on the back of this because obviously if I turn this over and do that, we're gonna have some smashed cactus. That sounds like the name of a punk rock band. So I'm just gonna put that on there and then add this. Needs a little bit more right here. And then when that's dry, I'll be able to go back and pop it, my fingers on a little bit more. So I'm just gonna add my flowers. I might use all 4 of them. The other one only has 2, but you can just stick them right on the top of your paste. And the reason I am doing this after is because now I know how far I can go off the side of the white paper before it's not on the edge of my card. Those are pretty dry, actually. Not dry enough that I could have smashed it with the seal yet. But once the paste is dry, it's that smashable. Put that on there, and then I am going to use all 4 of them just because they're beautiful and they're pink and they're sparkly. And then I'll show you the one that has 2, and then you can decide if you're a more is more or a less. This is just a much more flowering cactus than my other one. So now I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, and you know this little thing right here, I know it's bothering some of you, but I have my go-to way that I can always fix things that are smudgy. So I'm going to take, I must have put it up because I don't, this is dark polished pink. Do we want that, or do we want, I don't know what color I used on my other one because I put it up. I think I'm going to go with Magenta Madness because it's a nice hot pink. So I'm going to take my blend and I'm going to smash some of this on here, and I'm going to make sure I get some on my granny apple. And then on the other one, I did not use any Cajun Craze. We don't have Cajun, I don't think we have Cajun, but we do have Calypso Coral in Dark, which is close to Cajun. Sometimes you gotta go with what you gotta go with. And so if I just smashed that there, close enough. And it kind of also matches a little bit more of my thing. But now that all just blends in with the smudgies. And then we have this fabulous new ribbon, and it is going to be in the mini, and it's frayed ribbon. You'll get a piece of it on a card in your Try It class if you sign up. It's about half full, my Try It class. If it doesn't fill by the time registration closes, it closes, I think, January 2nd, because I put the order in the first day that we can order from the catalog. So I'm just going to tie a knot. So I want this to look kind of rustic to go with the on point. I also kind of want it to look like it has that 70s macrame vibe. And look, with that you can kind of, anything that's sticking up like that, well, it's still a little bit, not all the way dry. I was just able to knock that little corner right off. Just gonna take my seal and draw a line there. So if you don't like to tie bows, this is the perfect way to add your ribbon. So this ribbon is frayed. And if you're my age, you probably owned a pair of pants in the 70s that had some of this fraying, or a jean jacket. But then I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna fray the ends. So just kind of pull on it and then cut it. And then fray that. And then this is where the seal starts. And so it will stop fraying when it hits that where it's being held. So just kind of pull that out. Trim it off, and then you go up here and do the same thing up here. I really like this, so I have a feeling this is probably how I'll use the ribbon in the Try It. It used to be when I started the Try It class, the suites were, we would have about 10 suites and they all had a ribbon and an embellishment, and so everything matched. These days, Stampin' Up's mixed it up on us. So sometimes the suites don't have a ribbon, or the papers don't have a ribbon, or they don't have an embellishment. So sometimes the ribbons get used twice. And since I like this one, this may be one that we use twice. And it is also, it says it's white, but when you hold it to white paper, it has a vanilla tinge. You can see here it has a little bit of a vanilla tinge. So here is my less flowers, not quite as flowering, and not quite as bulky. Because you know, whenever I film for you guys, I overdo. Like the color's always darker. There's just more stuff because I'm talking. But here you go. I do want to show you. Look, like it's hard. Like you could flip this over hard. So that's how the paste dries. So super fun technique. So, and stay tuned for my next one because it could not be any more different than the first two that I've done. So I'll show you a little sneak peek of it because it has two techniques. We are going to do this and then this with the chalks. So, or the pastels, they're same, you know, chalk and pastel, kind of the same thing. So stay tuned for that. And if you are interested in doing the Try It Club, if you need a catalog, whatever, head to my website. Have a great day. Bye.